Hello again. The accusation is sometimes levelled at me that I am obsessed with racism in British society and that I talk about it too much. I think that it is rather the case that society itself is obsessed with this subject. The real objection to this channel is that I say the wrong things about racism and do not simply echo what everybody else says on the television and in the newspapers. When I observe that for the second day running the BBC is leading with a supposedly shocking instance of the way in which racism is endemic in British society and institutions, I think it unfair to suggest that it is I who always bangs on about the topic. Anybody listening to the wireless today will have heard practically nothing on the news except about English cricket and racism in it. The report about English cricket is all over the news today, and the take-home message is that cricket in this country is riddled with racism and that black people and those of South Asian heritage are discriminated against. A closer look, though, reveals something curious, which is what I can only describe as a Marxist perspective, which has nothing to do with race as such, but is more an attack on the class structure of our society. Now, this may be a fair thing about which to complain, but it's a bit tricksy to push it through under the pretext of fighting racism. It might help if people were to read the actual report rather than merely the edited highlights which are appearing in the news. In the description to this video, I give a link to the report itself, which is entitled "Holding Up a Mirror to Cricket." Here are a few concerns expressed in the report. This is an example of so-called racism against Asians. The culture of drinking can act as a particular barrier to the inclusion of Muslim communities, the vast majority of Pakistani and Bangladeshi people, many of whom do not drink for religious reasons. Does that mean that cricket should become teetotal because Muslims don't drink alcohol? I am myself a fanatical abstainer from alcohol, but that doesn't mean that I'm excluded from pubs or unable to attend weddings. I can hardly expect society to change in order to accommodate my own personal peculiarities. Then there are all those private schools which play cricket. This means that a lot of middle-class people get interested in the game. Why this should be a bad thing is not really made clear. After all, many working class people prefer football to cricket. Is that a cause for concern? Because of this, it is recommended that the MCC should stop those annual games at Eton and no longer have Oxford and Cambridge at Lord's. This is not about racism. This is class war. Returning to racism, Yorkshire bowler Azim Rafiq's name appears no fewer than 24 times in the report, with his allegations of racism in cricket. Would this be the same Azim Rafiq who was reprimanded by the England and Wales Cricket Board for making an anti-Semitic post on Facebook? The man around whom rumours of homophobia and anti-Semitism continue to swirl? That's the one. From what I can make out, this is an attack on a traditional English sport made in much the same spirit as the campaign against fox hunting some years ago, which led to its abolition. I think that cricket is being attacked because it is so typically English, and as such causes offence to those who would like to see the face of England altered out of all recognition. Cricket is shorthand. Cricket on the village green is just what a lot of these people would like to see abandoned. They want to see England transformed, and getting rid of traditional things like fox hunting and cricket is a good place to begin.